Okay. So we definitely didn't forget this time.
Nope.
So how is everybody? Colleen, how are you?
Doing good. Yep.
It's good. And Bill, it's good to have you with us tonight.
Yeah, hanging in there, Dick. Thank you.
And I've got to get better at recognizing Lee. I think is that your voice, Colleen? That's the
That's my phone. Yeah.
530.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, Lee's number, Dick, I think it's an 813. His exchange is 813, I think.
Okay. I have to remember that we should talk about the meeting that's going to be scheduled for the 12th of September. So that's not the next meeting, it's the one after that. I am going to be gone away for the whole week, and looks like I won't be able to do the meeting. So when Lee gets here, we'll have to figure out what we want to do with it. So Bill, we haven't heard much, I haven't heard much about the roundabout by the seminary. Do you hear anything from your friends at the state about whether that's
Well,
in fact happening?
the wetland permit has been issued. I suspect they're in the process of bidding it out. But last I heard is it will go to construction in 2024. So look for it to be built next year.
Okay,
And I'm guessing they'll bid it out and award the contract over the winter.
yeah.
But hopefully in a year and a half or 2 years, it'll be completed.
Some
Which
of
I
those,
think-
what?
No, I think there'll be a benefit to that area. That's a very dangerous intersection,
It really is.
you know.
We went through, I think the day before yesterday, the roundabout that's right on the west side of the Calvin Coolidge Bridge, right at that
Oh, yeah.
Damon Road and 91, and that is a godsend. It's unbelievable what happens there. I used to avoid that at between 7 and 8 in the morning, headed toward Northampton, because it was such a mess.
Yeah.
And it really did a wonderful job.
They did. It's actually a rather complex structure. There's quite a bit going on there, but it seems to work out more often than not for people. So that is a benefit. Because you've got heavy traffic coming off of the highway, and then you've got all the through traffic going from Amherst to Northampton. So there's
Yeah,
plenty
that
of
one's
them.
that's a little more complicated than the ones you see like at Atkins.
Oh, actually, there's another one north of Atkins at Pomeroy Lane, up where the federal office buildings are. It's a little tiny one. It's probably 75 feet in diameter tops, maybe less than that. It's a little small one. So I've seen them again, they're all circular, but all different diameters.
Yeah.
It's a far cry from the monstrosity down by the Muller Bridge in South
Yeah,
Hadley.
for
That thing's
sure.
a monster.
For sure.
You know, that one probably takes up 4 or 5 acres, but these things are little tiny things and they do the job.
I think that is Lee that just came on.
That's Lee. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Lee.
Hi, Lee.
Good evening.
Well, we can start going. Why don't we first look at the meeting minutes for August 1st? How are we with those?
I'm good, Dick.
Lee?
Yeah, yes, no issues at all, thank you.
Colleen, I'm okay with that too, so those are approved.
Okay.
Before we have everybody coming in with the septic systems, we can go, I can give you the quickie summary of them, which may not be so quickie. Neil Jackson has got 3 of them. But probably the one that at 51, this is going to Ellen Weiss, as 51 Forge Pond Road. That one is, Alan's got a little bit of stuff that's come in and made changes, but he's not going to be presenting that tonight, so we won't have to do that. And going through Neil's, I'll take them out of order. Neil has got an easier one on Cold Hill. That's at 95 Cold Hill. That is I think it's the old White Home. That's a flat roofed house, I believe, that is on the southern bump of Cold Hill, just as you get up to the top. In fact, it's right across the street from the new lots that are being worked on right now. And it's a repair, it's a 3-bedroom house, a complete system. The fee is paid, the review is complete. It's basically grassy, kind of levelish towards the road and kind of steep going down towards the rear, which is to the west. Loose till and gravel, 54-inch water table. It's a shallow well. Issues are the water table, the steep hill, and the shallow well. His design is for a 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank with an outlet filter. He's got 3 trenches that are 50 feet, 3 feet by 50 feet by 12-inch effective depth. They're terraced without vents. Fill is required. He's at 450 gallons a day provided versus 440 needed. The reserve area is there provided between the trenches. 5-foot water table separation. Ballast isn't required for the tank. The existing tank is going to be pumped, crushed, and removed. The SAS and septic tank separation to the wetlands and neighboring wells greater than 100 feet. The septic tank to this well is about 70 feet due to the steep tank in the back. Neil is trying to not put that tank going down the hill. We should be discussing I think Neil is going to give us a modified drawing showing in fact, I have seen the rotated SAS. It wasn't running parallel to the contours of the hill, and the septic tank relocation a little bit further from the well, and trench permit and fill requirements. What do we have for talk?
The plan I'm looking at, Dick, it looks like the septic tank is probably 50 feet from the well. This is the old plan.
Neil, is
August.
there, did you in fact move that some more, Neil?
Yes, and obviously we can move it right to where the slope drops off when we do the install. Because I'm coming out of the septic tank, we're gonna chimney it down. So moving that's not going to affect the slope of the pipe going into the D box. So we can move it right to the edge of that slope.
Which will end up being that 70 feet or thereabouts that I.
Yep.
That I said.
65-ish. Yeah.
Oh. What,
We're getting dropped in and out of this for some reason.
Yeah, the sound is going in and out. I don't know who's on whose end, but
mine is not saying that I've got a problem, but it may be.
'cause I didn't hear anything. If you talked about the 183 West Street, I didn't hear that.
I did not talk about it.
Oh, okay. 95 Coles Hill, all right.
Do we hear, can we hear enough to,
Okay. Yeah, so we're still on 90 Old Hill, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I don't see any issues. I mean, we do, at the 5-foot water table separation, we have the distance to the well. Is that correct? Or are we still at that 70-foot, mark? The well, Neil, because of the slope?
Yeah, it'd be about 65. But again, we're gonna chimney it. I mean, I could actually rotate the tank also and put the tank parallel with the topo too, so I could get a little bit more distance that way. So I could get, yeah, if I do that, I can get to 70 feet. Yep.
Yeah. Neil, tell me a little more about that shallow well, please.
Okay, what do you need to know?
How is it constructed? How deep is it? Is it sunk well tiles? What is it?
It's sunk well tiles. It's a shallow well. I'm not sure what the water level in there is, but our septic system is a lot lower than that.
Have you tested the well for coliforms or other contaminants?
Nope, but I can. If you want that tested, absolutely.
Well, considering the situation elsewhere in town, it might not be a bad idea here.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm not a big fan of shallow wells to start with, so.
Yeah, Dick, what do you think?
well, as you're talking about it, I can't imagine that they have a shallow well, to tell you the truth, up on the top of that drumlin. Seems like a crazy place to have a shallow well, but it's probably been there for 80 years.
Yep.
But for sure, we should test it.
Yeah, okay.
The question is, what do we have for a basis for telling them to replace it? We probably, under our regulations, we probably don't. You know, we say that the tank should be 100 feet if it can be on repairs, but we allow it up to 50, as low as 50 on repairs if we can't. And with the history, if you're looking at 70 or 80 years, I'm just trying to think back. It just seems to me that when I was a little kid driving on the school bus, so 65 years ago plus, that house was there.
Well, I think just peace of mind for the homeowner, it's probably a good time to test that well. And hopefully it'll come up clean.
Okay, I can do that.
Is it being used right now, Neil?
Oh, nobody lives there right now. It's it's an investment property. He bought it to flip, so he's getting ready to sell it. So I agree, it should be tested.
That's probably the best reason of all to test it if he's selling it to another party.
Of course, if it
Yeah.
hasn't been used for a long time, it's not very likely that it's bad.
Well, if there's bacteria, it doesn't go anywhere, whether you use it or not.
Yeah. So what are we doing? We're approving this subject to Neil giving us the 70 feet on the tank, the trench permit, the fill requirements, and the testing of the well.
I think that works.
Yeah, I think that's correct, yep.
Okay. The next one, let's say, I'm gonna save the 183, I think that's what it is. The first one on my list, the last for Neil. Let's look at 21 West Street. That's the Brunetti property across from the West Street School. It's a repair, the 3-bedroom house, a complete system, the fees paid. The review isn't complete. My part of it that I've gone through is complete, but the board's got to come to a decision on it, on the water table separation. It's a grassy slope down to the rear, which is to the south. There's sands and breakable shale, either 19 to 30-inch water table. It's a narrow 17,000 square foot lot. Wetlands are in the back to the south. Issues of the water table, the wetlands, the small narrow lot. The design is for a 1,500 gallon 2-compartment septic tank with outlet filter, 3 7-unit Elgin B43 module by 4-foot trenches without vents. Fill is in there, 440 gallons a day are provided versus 440 required. There's on the southern, it's actually 3 sides, but on the southern side of it, and actually the east and west is running into it, he's got more than a 4-foot exposed wall with a 40 mil polyethylene liner on the inside of the 3 sides of that wall. No reserve area. Neil's got 3-foot water table separation. There's no pump here. Existing tank to be pumped and crushed and filled. Ballast is required for the tank. There's existing shed there has to be removed. Siltation barrier is used for the installation. The SAS separation to the wetlands about 60 feet. The SAS to wells are greater than 100 feet. Septic tank is down gradient of the well, and it's about 50 feet. And we have to discuss trench permit. It had fill requirements, Conservation Commission review, and the 3-foot water table separation. When Neil and I talked, this is not the first round through on this design. It moved from 2 feet for water table separation. What Neil ended up with 3 feet versus the 4 feet is the 4 feet is going to end up needing a pump, and it's going to end up needing an engineered wall, which is going to be a 5-foot plus wall right near, pretty near the property lines. And Neil presenting saying 3 feet seeming like what he could get without doing the pump and the engineered wall. So what are our thoughts?
The Elgin,
What's the maximum height of unbalanced fill in the wall?
It's gonna be, it won't exceed 4 feet.
Dick, I don't have the code in front of me. Check the code. I think the code needs a PE to sign off on the wall in this application.
I believe it's over 4 feet.
Yeah, let's take a look at the code. Hold on. The problem is you've got the polyethylene and you've got more water pressure on, you've got more soil pressure due to the water. Hold on. Let me just find the code here.
One of the things that I was also thinking as Bill's looking, Neil, is to grade that approach coming from the roadside so that water coming down from the house side doesn't end up flowing onto the SAS, that you grade it in a way that it goes off the sides before it gets to it.
Right, that makes sense.
Okay, bear with me for one moment. Okay, where a retaining wall to stabilize the slope is required and also is proposed as a impervious barrier. So there's two conditions. In addition to meeting the requirements of 15.255.2, which is the horizontal offset, it shall be constructed of suitable structural material and designed by a mass registered PE. So it looks like Paul Campagna is going to have to put his PE hat on this one, Neil.
Okay, so it doesn't have a minimum height?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope. Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So that's,
Sorry.
so Colleen, that's along, we're gonna put on there that the wall has to be designed, the retaining wall has to be designed and stamped by a Massachusetts professional engineer. But now we're gonna have to go back and talk about the 3 feet versus 4 foot water table separation. Lee and
Yeah.
Bill, what are your thoughts?
I got the plan right here, Dick. Now, does Elgin let you go to 2 feet?
It
Yes,
does.
Okay. And you meet the 2 feet.
yeah, we went to 3 feet. You might, the plan was revised with the wall. I'm not sure if the plan you have shows the wall and the 3 foot separation. I
Yeah,
initially,
mine is dated 17 July.
yeah, the
Oh, actually,
revised.
excuse me, revision 9 August, so it is probably the new plan.
If it's got a wall in it, Bill, then it's.
Yeah,
the new-
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, because it says elevation of deep hole 1, 92.3, high water table 90.05, so that's a little over 2 feet there. About
It
2.25 feet.
should be 3 feet when I looked at it.
Yeah, well.
Let
But
me-
that's what I'm seeing right here, Dick, on this sketch. Grab your sketch.
Well, depot 1 is under the upper trench, which
Yes.
has 93.05, so there's 3
Yep.
feet there. And then, so 2A is the lowest depot, has an elevation of 90.41, water table 89.08, and we're at 92.25.
Yeah,
The bottom of the sand. So we have over 3 feet on the lower one. So we have 3 feet on the upper one, over 3 feet on the lower trench.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I see. Yeah, the way you wrote the way you scribed this, it's confusing. I got you. I got you.
The whole site's confusing, Bill.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a
All right,
tough
all right.
site.
All right, so the bottom trench, the bottom of the sand is the Elgin sand is 92.25.
Yep.
And the water table is 90.05. So that's a little over 2 feet.
Oh, wait, let's do this again.
No, we're looking at 1A and 2A underneath that trench. So 1A is 89.25, which gives us 3 feet, and 2A is 89.08, which gives us over 3 feet.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's confusing. You should have wrote the numbers over by the trench that it's referred to. You've got it actually under the bottom trench. I see the way. Okay.
Yeah, it shows it on the layout where the holes are.
That's a confusing depiction, but that's okay. No worries.
Neil, on the sketch here, on the east side of this property, there's a culvert
Yep.
coming in from West Street School,
Yes.
which is a driveway drain. I see it's 15-inch culvert. Does that have any impact on your location?
No, there's a
Oh.
swale. There's a swale that goes down and goes right into the wetland. So that water will never get over towards our system.
Okay.
No, it's definitely a well-defined swale over there.
Yeah. Neil,
So
get
that
your,
being said,
excuse me, Lee.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, Neil, just make a note, get on the agenda for conservation for September on this one, if you would, please.
Okay.
I don't see any problems, but you should go through conservation on this one.
RDA?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Is there a note here in the construction notes that I didn't pick up on about a swale to be installed on the west side?
We should be,
Property.
it should go to, on the west side, Lee, there,
You want to just make sure that the water doesn't flow over the field, correct?
Well, as you come down from West Street and, walking down this guy's yard, there's quite a elevation change as we head down towards the retaining wall. A way of moving the water away from the Elgin system more towards, a southwest flow.
yeah, so what we're talking about, Neil, is catching that water so it doesn't fill up your SAS, and also doesn't drown the demand to your west. So that should be graded to get the surface water that's running to the south ought to be moving towards the west, away from the SAS, and tucked in close enough that it doesn't flood the neighbor and gets down into the wetlands.
So you want a grass swale, not a riprap swale, correct?
That's what I would be thinking of.
What's the swale current? What's the existing swale, Neil?
Well, on the east, we're talking the west side. On the east side, it's just there's not really much vegetation.
Yeah, and it's on the neighbor's property, right?
Yeah, it's not on this property.
Yeah.
So
And the code is you need 10 foot of separation. You have the 10 foot of separation, so you're good.
So, but they're talking on the west side, they want to swale just to divert water coming down on the west side of the house.
Okay. Oh, I see. You could do a cross swale. I get you.
cross
Yeah, go
swale.
for yeah.
So just a grass swale, just something.
Yeah, just have it
would be
graded.
fine.
Okay, yeah, that would be easy.
That's easy
Okay.
to do.
Okay.
So that
that's
should
okay.
go on the conditions, Colleen, is that it be graded to allow the water from the north of the system to flow to the west of the system towards the wetlands.
Yeah, and that, I'll make sure that's changed for the RDA, because I'm sure the conservation will be interested in that also.
Yeah, so it'll save the SAS on this piece of property that you're working on, and also save the neighbor on the west.
Yeah, yeah.
Side of this property from getting all that water dumped on their property. So it's
Right.
Right.
two good things.
Okay.
Now
All right.
let's move to Neil's first one. And this is at 183 West Street. It's a repair. It's a 5-bedroom house, complete system. Although the property has got a very, very large barn that's advertised as 14 horse stalls to be filled by contract. Plus big riding areas and an inside riding area and outside paddocks. It's essentially, it's an 8-acre lot that's probably got, maybe it's 2 acres at the most, 1.5 acres filled with the house type things, and then the rest of the 6 acres as a horse business. And it's advertised in publications.
So just to clarify, I talked to Gene Casanelli, and he said they've never had an event there. He doesn't even know why that's on the internet, but he assured me if they ever did have anything, and they're selling it anyway, but if they ever did, I said, you would definitely have to get Sandy cans. There's no facilities in the barn. They have a hydrant for watering the horses, but that's the only thing they have out there. And so there's no bathroom facilities that would be used. And he said there's never been an event, so he doesn't really know where that came from. But I told him it's on the internet, so it must be true.
Yeah. So this one is again, the review isn't complete. We've got to talk about this. I've got still on my write-up a pump chamber, but that's been removed. It's a very large lot, 6.8 acres, gently sloping down to the rear to the south, occupied by buildings and fenced riding areas, glacial till, shallow to ledge, 24-inch water table. There's a mistake where I said only 1 hole is required, 48 permeable soil. That's not true. 24-inch water table, as I said, wetlands to the west. Issues, the water table, the ledge, the wetlands, the limited areas for the SAS due to the riding activity, long pipe runs, some through the riding areas. The design is for a 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank with outlet filters. This one I didn't take out. It says the pump chamber. That's not there. 3 10-unit Elgin B43 module by 4-foot trenches with vents. Fill is required, 660 gallons a day provided versus 660 gallons required. No reserve area. 2-foot water table separation, ballots required. Again, I've got for the tank and the pump chamber, it's just a tank. The existing tank to be pumped, crushed, and backfilled. A lengthy siltation control barrier. Long pipe runs through the riding areas, SAS and septic tank. And again, I've still got the pump chamber separation to the wetlands and the wells greater than 100 feet. We need to discuss the 2-foot water table separation, trench permit, fill requirements. And I've still got pump design, which is gone. Conservation Commission approval, protection of the piping in the riding areas, and electric permit if in fact we end up with the pump. I guess the big issue here is again, what's in the internet says there's 13 horse boarding areas, and they advertise that you're welcome to come with your trainers and your friends and spend the day there. And we've got a pretty small system. We've got an innovative system with the reduced area size and 2-foot water table separation, where Neil is saying if you don't let them have the 2-foot water table separation, it's going to need a pump.
Well, there's a pump on the design.
Oh, Neil's got another design that he's got. That pump chamber that Neil shows is a really nasty pump chamber. It's the top of the chamber is about 5 feet down in the ground with a 2-foot water table in that area, probably ledge at about 2 feet, 3 feet. So you're blasting and so when Neil and I talked, we talked, is there a way to get rid of it? And
Got a couple of questions for Neil.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mass Mapper, the 2021 aerial image, which is pretty high quality. And I see 4 outbuildings behind the house. There's clearly a barn, there's a paddock area. Then there's a little tiny building on the west property line, just opposite the main riding area. And then at the bottom, the south end of the site, there's also another little outbuilding, Neil. What are those?
Are you talking south of the septic system?
No. The southernmost property line on the site, on the parcel at 183 West, there's a little rectangular, it looks like an outbuilding. What is that?
I am not sure.
Take a look at your map. Yeah, take a look at Mass Mapper. It's very detailed. You can see all the trees and you can see all these little buildings and fences and all kind of stuff.
Okay, I can look it up right now.
So just take a look at that.
but you're
Look,
not near there anyway.
I'd share my screen if I could. I don't know if we
I
can
don't
do
think you
screen
can.
share. Let me try it just for fun. No, it's disabled. That's okay. But anyway, there's all kind of outbuildings, and I'm just wondering, Dick, I'm just thinking out loud, would they try to put a toilet in one of these outbuildings?
Well, we can't tell it, as Neil is saying, it's for sale. And
I'm
my
just thinking
general
out,
feeling is that this is an area that's, you're shallow to ledge. We've got water back there. And we're putting a small system in, and I would be voting on this one that this is a place that we should be holding the 4 feet. And if we need a pump, we need a pump. But this is a big time operation. A big time system, we'll say, and a big time load with a little system.
yeah, let's take a look at the Title V here.
As far as we're aware, this is a dry working barn only, correct?
Yes, they have. I mean, I talked to the owner. They have no events, nor have they ever had any events.
No, but what I mean is, Neil, we're not aware that they have any facilities in the barn.
They
For
have
them.
no facility. There's no facilities in the barn except the water.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the closest they have institutionally is public park, but I don't think this would qualify as a public park. Under
No.
any circumstance.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, but like you say, Dick, if they have events and they have 50 people to attending, what are these folks gonna do when they have to go to the bathroom?
Even if they go in and use the house, it's a thing that's certainly not what you'd normally expect from a house.
That's right. Let's take a look.
Wouldn't they have to have a license to conduct a business in a residence?
Not necessarily.
There's no zoning restrictions?
I don't think
Well-
so when it comes to the horses and barns and
Yeah,
farm kind of stuff.
agricultural is pretty loose with respect to that. Yeah, I'm looking at the residential criterion and nothing fits.
No, I think if they ever did have an event or they had people there, they would get Sandy cans.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the common sense solution, yeah.
Right, I think that's, I mean, most events you go to now, that's what they have. I mean, if
That's
they
right.
don't have any they're certainly not gonna have people going in their house and using the facilities. I
Right, right.
I would be very surprised if they allowed
Actually,
that.
the building code, the current building code is if you pull a building permit for house renovation or construction, you're obliged to have a Santa can for the workers.
Right, oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And my concern is when you advertise that you've got 13 stalls to be rented out
Yeah,
and you're welcome to have your crew there for the day, someone's going to be going to the bathroom someplace.
yes,
So
Well, that's the thing. At first glance, the size of the operation thing, it's not necessarily what we're used to seeing out this way, but certainly it goes past a family of 2 or 3 people only utilize this sized operation.
my feeling that as I think we're going to have trouble going back to Neil and saying, you've got the wrong size.
you're
But what
the
I
only
don't
one
have
that,
a problem saying is, you know what? We're just not with shaky soil out there with high water and looking at the whole operation that we should be holding to 4 feet.
yeah. The only flow that would fit here is kennel/vet office, so per kennel. It's 50 gallons per day per kennel. So can we equate this to a kennel operation? I don't know.
I don't believe so.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so either, because and a kennel, you'd be saying the water that they're washing the floor with would end
Right.
up going into a drain and into the septic system, and that's not what's happening here.
But like you say, this is for workers or guests. And I guess we have to approve this, Dick.
We don't have to approve it with 2-foot separation.
Well, I realize that, but for the flow, would you design this at Neil, 660, 550 plus 110?
Yeah, 660.
Okay, well, that's quite a bit of flow.
I think we have to approve the flow.
Yeah,
But
I
the
think the
issue
fl-
is, do we approve the 2-foot separation? And as I look at it, once we do it, it's, we're gonna be talking in a few minutes about East State Street, and that's talking about the same issue. And I just think that this is one that you say, design this right and get the separation, get the protection And if they use it for something different later, we've at least got the protection built in right now for environmental protection.
Boy, there's plenty of wetlands around this site, that's for sure. Mass mapper shows a huge landlocked parcel, actually several of them to the south that are all wetland.
That's right, it is.
Yeah.
That whole area in there is all, is shallow to ledge.
Okay. So do we know along the track of the proposed pump line what the bedrock elevation is, or do we have no data with respect to that?
No, the owner said there's high ledge through those paddocks, but I don't know exactly what it is.
I've dug holes in the general area. And as you go from there to the north and to the west, until you go, there's a wetland to the west. But until you get to that and going across the street to West Street, as you go to the northwest, it really is 1 foot, 2 feet to ledge.
So the next thing is, Neil, are you gonna have a uniform slope on the force main, or is the force main gonna undulate up and down?
It'll have to be able to drain back, so it's gonna have to be a consistent slope back. I mean, that's one of the reasons, I mean, to keep the pump chamber out of these two paddocks, you're at an elevation of about 327. That's why it's so deep in the ground. Because you have to keep it back by the barn, by the driveway.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be some rock removal involved here.
Well, what you could do is put the pump chamber out further, put it way down by the SAS. So you flow by gravity from the tank to the pump chamber, and then you could flow back from the SAS backwards into the pump chamber and not be way, way deep in the ground.
Yeah, put it out by the system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
really have.
It's a long way to run electrical, but you've got the trench, that you've got the whole thing there. And it's not gonna be an easy task to put it where we're putting it before, if you have to blast to put the thing in. And then maintenance for it is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that if you're not gonna grant the 2-foot offset, then there's really not any, there's no other solution but to pump it.
So we should make up our mind to that now. We're not gonna, if we're not gonna grant the 2 feet, then Neil has to come back. But we're not gonna get that finished here tonight. So our job tonight, Bill and Lee, is to tell Neil either we are or we are not granting the 2-foot variance. That's what the issue is right now. Since we've said the 660 is an acceptable volume. So Lee and Bill, we have to say that. Are we gonna do it or not? For the 2 feet? I'd offer that we don't. We go with the 4 feet. Now, Lee and Bill, what are your thoughts on it?
With the modeling at 24 and what everybody appears to agree upon is a high ledge area. And I would have to agree that the 4 foot would be in the best interest here.
Bill, you're hiding behind that design.
Looking at the plan. Neil, so you're saying you could gravity feed this thing if you had 2 foot?
Yep,
So how many feet is it from the new tank to the leach field? How many lineal feet is it?
it is 420.
So you're telling me you could run a pipe at a uniform slope over 420 feet without any bellies in the pipe?
I've done it before, 25 years ago.
What's the,
Bill, I ran a public sewer line from a subway, 1 inch per 1 inch per 10 foot, 10 lineal foot, about 500 feet, and it's been in the ground 25 years and we've never had a clog.
okay, and the slope of your pipe is what? What is it? I can barely, is it, it's a 0.5%?
No,
It's-
no, we have 2% to the first D box and then 1% for the last 180 feet.
Just like to keep everybody aware of the time right now. We've got,
Well, I'm looking at a design that has a pump chamber on it. I'm probably looking at the wrong design then.
you are
Yeah.
looking at the wrong design.
All right,
I
so,
have, I have 2 D boxes, 240 feet to the first.
okay, well,
D box.
listen, I can't even opine on that because I don't have the design. So since I don't have the design in front of me, the only one I can opine on is this one. And this is the one with the pump chamber. Since we're pumping it anyway, we may as well go to 4 feet. Because I don't have the other design in front of me. So that's my thought.
Okay, so I think that's, yeah, we're all on the same page.
Okay, so that's
What's
what,
in front of me.
that's what we're gonna do, Neil. We're gonna say the 4 feet.
Okay,
So that's it. Okay, okay, the next one that I have not talked about then is, so Alan is not coming tonight. He still hasn't finished his part. And I think the last one is yep, the last one is with Bob and Jill Caffarelli. We've got, when we left the last time, we said that we were going to accept everything had been corrected. We agreed on a 3-bedroom house. And what we were hung up on is 2 feet versus 4 feet for water table separation. Bill, you were going to talk with the state. You, from what I can see, the state says that they would rather have the 4 feet, but that the Board of Health has the authority to drop it to 2 feet if the board felt that adequate.
Yeah, no, the state gave me the new documentation for Presby. Presby is permitted with 2 feet of separation from the bottom of the C33 sand, which is 6 inches below the Presby 9.5 inch pipes, these unusual diameter pipes. So realistically, you have 30 inches of separation from the bottom of the pipe to the high water table. And it has been approved and tested down at the Mass Test Center down in Sandwich. So I'm okay with a 2 foot separation from a technical perspective on that one.
And I have an issue that we said under the same conditions that we just talked the one at 4 feet. We did one at 3 feet for West Street. And the state, the stuff you mailed out, Bill, did say from the state that they would prefer the 4 feet. So we've got a design in front of us that Bob submitted with 4 feet that looks like it does fit in front of the house with without a big mound.
Okay,
We've got a spot that here is very much in fact, worse than over on West Street. And that we've got lots of holes that are dug on this property. And other than this one spot, it's really shallow to lead every place.
yeah, it'll let you go to 2 feet from bedrock, which I think is not a good idea. And it will allow you to go 2 feet to groundwater.
I had a feeling that there actually is a spot here that is kind of consistent with our talk tonight. It really, I think, makes a foot difference, makes a huge difference in the front of that house. And we just talked, we let West 21 West Street, when we talked through, said that because of the impact of the pump, we've already got a pump here, so that part doesn't matter as much. But in terms of what it does to the front of this house, that a foot difference moving instead of 4 feet, the struggle that I have is the 2 feet. But we just talked through environmentally saying 3 feet is something that we just said we could live with on another lot. And in this particular lot, I think the difference between 3 feet and 4 foot is huge in the front of that house. Taking
So
a foot off of there.
All right. So we could go with 3 foot. Is that a compromise solution, Dick? You think 3 feet?
That's what I'm proposing. That would be consistent. It's not exactly the same that on West Street we said by going to 3 feet we avoid going to the pump. This one's already got a pump. But I think when you look at what 4 feet does to this front of this house versus 3, I drove by it a few times this week and looked and said, 4 feet, even though Bob and Jill have drawn it at 4 feet, 4 feet's not going to be nice right there.
Okay.
It's going to be terrible. But 3 feet it gives you not as much environmental separation as I'd like, but consistent with what we just said we could live with on West Street. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out as a Lee. What are you Bill has already said what he's thinking. What are you thinking?
I think out of fairness, it's like you said, it has the pump chamber. Anyway, in knocking a foot off, I understand the impact visibly to the house. So yeah, if you guys are on board with a 36-inch separation, I think that's fair for everybody.
What are you thinking, Bill?
So Dick, it's 36 from the bottom of the C33 sand, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah, we gotta clarify that because the way they specify these offsets on some of these funny systems is below the sand, which is an integral part of the Presby. Yeah, I'm good with that. If, maybe get,
So-
is
so this
Mr., is Jill or Mr. Drost here?
Go ahead, Jill.
So you want to put this off another month?
No, I don't want to, we're not doing that. We're,
No.
if, what we would be doing today is if everybody said this is 3 feet from the bottom of the sand to the water table is what we're gonna deal with, and Jill and Tim, you're not gonna go away and say this is screen, you're gonna say we're gonna go and fight and do everything. If we all said 3 feet is what we're gonna go with, we would approve the design as you've submitted, except require that you submit to the board a new drawing with the water table separation at 3 feet. And it would not require another board meeting to get through this. So it would, as soon as that would be submitted, then Colleen would sign off on it and it would go through the whole system.
And Mr. Drost, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. If,
Okay,
I
so
mean, I think if that's the best we can do, I mean, obviously, my concern is not just the appearance, it's the water pitching back to the house, and because of the age of the foundation, that's why I'm concerned. And my hope was because we're adding a pump system that we could do the 2 feet, and that was trying to, I understand, your thoughts, and we're trying to work through this. It just, the other issue is the grading of the property, and, the house is literally almost on the ground, just because of the age of it. So that's why I was hoping with the 2 feet, that's why we were so focused on that.
So
No way you think we can get to 2 feet?
I'm going to be fighting hard on it.
Right, so if we get to that point, Jill, you're gonna make a note that the 36 inches is from that sand separation that Bill discussed.
yes, that's in the Presby design.
All right, so 36 above that, right?
Jill, I'm trying to find the drawing. Hang on for a second to see how you've got, just to look at what Tim is saying. Because I thought you had it shown at the level lines. You've still got up near the house, Jill. It looks like you've got the walkway is shown where it is. And yours that you've submitted, the one I've got right now is at the 4 feet. And it appears to me that you have in fact handled the 4 foot. It looks like you've got it adequately handled, and the 1 foot looks like it's gonna give you quite a bit more to, well, obviously it gives you a foot more to play with than that grading. That it looks like the front of the house right now, that southwest corner of that lot,
Yeah.
is lower, where you've got to grade it off right now, Tim.
Yes,
And
that's,
and that spot looks like it's going to be the spot that comes up a little bit, but
okay,
as it gets back towards the house, you're going to stay where you are, and it's going to go back, and it's not. When I looked at it, it looks like it's not going to look like you've got a bump in the front of the house, and it's still going to hit it, so it's going to drain to the west.
okay. Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest concern. Just because we're trying to protect the structure of the house. So I don't want to,
Sure.
I don't want to cause anything that's, it's obviously the appearance is important, but more so I'm trying to protect the structure of the house. We've invested a tremendous amount of money fixing it all. I don't want to drive water back into that space. It doesn't have a, traditional
Yeah.
fountain. So, and we don't want to
For
start.
what it's worth, Tim, as I
Yep.
was driving by that this past week, a
Yes.
lot of times saying, that rotten old house that sat there for 50 years looking awful looks really wonderful.
Thank you.
And it really does. And so let us not screw this up right now. And
Well, if you looked at it and you think that the grade is good at the 3 feet, I value your opinion, and if we can get it past them, we'll at 3 feet, and you think that works, then that makes sense to me. I want to move forward, so I appreciate everybody working on this and to
I'm
get.
not the one that does it. This is Bob and Jill are doing this, but I'm just looking at what they've done on these drawings, and it looks like they work like a son of a gun to make it work for drainage and look good. And I think from their drawings, if we give them back a foot, that they can really make this fit in. What are Bill and Bob? What are your thoughts? I mean, Jill and Bob.
Well, I mean, obviously Bob liked the 2-foot separation better, but we have to go with what the board, will go with. So whatever you say, we'll go with.
So Lee and Bill, is that what we're saying?
Correct.
Everybody's good with it, Dick. I think it's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Okay, so we've dealt with the water table separation. We've got, for Colleen, we still need the trench permit. There'll be a well permit that we need. There plumbing and electrical permits for the pumping.
The permits for the electrical and plumbing are already pulled for the house.
Okay, so that's done. So we're set with that. And this one, I think code requires, and Jill, you probably know this, I believe when we do the repairs using this system, you have to file a deed restriction. Is that correct?
Yes,
Or a deed. It's actually not a restriction. I think it's a notification.
That's
yeah,
right.
just a deed notification. Yes,
So that needs to, Colleen, that needs to be in here as a condition that gets filed.
Okay.
And
So you could-
actually,
yeah,
when
you could-
Colleen, that one
The,
we missed it on West Street too. That has to go for Neil's thing on West Street where he used the Elgin. That requires that notification too.
Okay.
It's right, it's on the plan.
Yeah, he's got it on the plan, Dick.
Oh,
It's
that's
already
right.
on the plan.
That's right.
It's on the plan.
Yep.
So then we're done this. And so what's going to happen, just so, again, so we reiterate that as part of the approval, what has happened, why don't we, Colleen, why don't we let Bill be the one that tells you, we can't do it as a board without meeting, talk as a board, or 2 people can't talk. So what we said tonight is that Jill and Bob were going to redo with a 3-foot separation. They were going to, since all the other things were dealt with on this drawing, so they're going to change the drawing to show the 3-foot separation. They'll get it to you, Colleen, so that you can pass it to Bill to make sure it works. Bill will get back to you, and the board, as part of this action tonight, allows you to sign the paperwork that needs to get signed once that's occurred after Bill has approved it. So if that gets done in a day or 2 days, it's all done, which lets you sign off on what the building permit, what the building inspector needs, all the things that need to get done. along with the, whatever the approval of the permit, it all gets done. And it gets done at the rate that Tim and your crew can get it handled. That what we all agreed on? Bill and Lee?
Yes,
Sounds good.
Okay,
that's correct.
Thank you, gentlemen.
okay, good night.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you, Jill.
Okay. Now we can move on with the rest of our stuff. Timesheet for Colleen. That's for August 12th.
Hi,
And
sorry
this is-
to interrupt. This is Alex from 51 Forge Pond.
Yes,
We didn't know that Alan wasn't attending. We were wondering if, so we're here, wondering if there's anything that should or could be discussed today?
we are waiting for Alan. Alan did send in a copy of a proposal for the maintenance and inspection. What the things we were waiting for are Alan to be filing with Conservation Commission, which he did, Bill, is that correct?
Yeah, they came before the commission last night. We continued it until September. Let's take a look. Well, September 12th. We'll most likely be approving the project on September 12th.
Then we've got, Alan is supposed to get, I think, from you people, a letter from a licensed well installer saying that your well is a bedrock well with a functioning seal between the casing and the bedrock. Alan is supposed to put on the drawing.
Yes, yeah, I think he is the one who's supposed to get that document. Did you receive the documents I sent you with the maintenance agreement and the plans?
So that came from you, not Alan. Yeah,
Yes.
I did see that one.
Okay,
And then Alan was gonna put on the drawing that their part of the system was that there would be a backup power supply to ensure that the nitrogen removal system or reduction system works during power outages. He was gonna put that on the drawing. And
okay.
I thought I had one other thing that I told Alan that he'd have to have on. Do you remember Bill or Lee or
Yeah,
Colleen?
it was. Was it regarding the Singular system?
Yes. Yes, the same system.
It may have said on the his design that the Singular system had to have a signed maintenance agreement, an exercise maintenance agreement on the drawing, which I expect would happen, but it was going to be part of the drawing. I think
So
that's,
the maintenance agreement that we sent you is that not it? Sorry.
I would expect that that's what be it. But what Alan has to do is put on the drawing that as part of our approval,
Okay,
that we won't grant the certificate of compliance until that is signed. And it needs to be on the drawing, and the supplementary power supply has to be on the drawing, so that when it comes time to do the sign off, it's there, that we can say, okay, there it is, it's done. But Alan's got,
Okay.
I think everybody's got those comments, and Alan called me up and said he understood that and he was gonna get it done.
okay, so is the plan that we will meet next month to discuss this?
Well,
Or
Alan-
whenever everything is ready to be submitted?
Bill, are you guessing that what happens is Alan's got to get his part done. Bill, you're on your other group, Conservation Commission is going to get their part done.
Right.
And Bill, you're muted.
Okay, you got me now, Dick? Okay.
Yes.
I was saying, we only received the plan set a few hours prior to last night's meeting, but I fully expect this project to be passed through conservation next month. There are some issues with some flood elevations that need to be clarified. Al's going to retain a land surveyor to provide a letter for that, but I think so. All's a green light on the conservation end.
So if there are no other conditions that the Board of Health has put on since the whatever, a month and a half ago.
Okay,
But for sure, you know, I can work with Alan and the board can work with Alan to make sure that his drawings are in good shape so that when they come to us, we're ready to approve them. I would guess that our part will probably be at the next meeting, if he's ready.
okay. Okay, all right, that sounds good. We just wanted to know kind of what the plan
Okay.
is. Thank you.
Very
Okay,
good, thank you.
so as
All
we
right.
go, okay, good night.
Okay, bye.
So we've got Colleen's timesheet is for 70 hours, which is normal for this 2-week period. Are we okay with that?
That's good.
Yes.
I am too, Colleen, so that's approved. The next one on my list is this one, Colleen, is Deer Creek Farm at 193 Amher Street. This is a septage hauler permit. We need to talk a little bit about this. This is, I'm going to try to summarize what you told me, Colleen, that this is going to be a vehicle, I think it's a towed vehicle that will have multiple toilets on it and have a holding tank. Colleen is calling it a 3-stall, or they're calling it a 3-stall restroom trailer to be used. It's mobile. It could be used on site at 193 Amher Street. It could be rented. But it's a mobile trailer with, I'm guessing it, I don't know that it's got its own water supply, but it's got a 500-gallon holding tank. And they're looking for a septage hauler permit. My understanding with the regulations on this is that they need to understand that if this is a stationary device, that and the sewage is going to be, if it's stationary and not leaving while there's sewage in it, that the sewage in it would have to be removed by a licensed waste hauler. So in effect, if they were talking about Greg Everson would have to drive to the place it's parked and pump it out. But once they have it mobile with sewage in it, then they have to bring it to a waste treatment plant. Just as if Greg Everson had the sewage in his tank. And in fact, Greg got in trouble for doing something that on Crescent Street, Greg had a holding tank that when he only had a little bit of sewage or when the sewage plant wasn't open, he would put it into this tank and then pump it out. And the state said, no way. Once it's in a tank and moving, it has to only be unloaded at a licensed treatment plant. And these people are the same thing. So once they get on the road, what I don't know, and I'm gonna, Lee and Bill, you guys can comment on this. Let's put it, what happens if they drive it from a parking lot at the Big Y in South Hadley, where they rented it out, and they drive it home, and Greg go to their house and pump it out? I'm guessing they can't. Once they put it on the road, I think they have to bring it to a waste treatment plant. Is that what you guys, Bill and Lee?
Well, do these people have septic haulers licenses or not?
That's what they're asking for right now.
Okay.
Is this a commercially built piece of equipment? Is this a homemade, I don't know how to describe it. Is this a bunch of porta potties on a trailer bolted together with a poly tank of water on the front end where the trailer hitch connects? And does
I'd
it have
offer
permit-
to answer that question, Lee. Someone from this board, before this license is granted, someone from this board should be looking at this thing. For all
Yep.
I know, it's made in a way that's not safe to move down the road, and sewage could pour out of it when it hit a pump.
Right. So you have no photographs or cut sheets or anything on this unit then? We know nothing
intend-
about this piece of equipment.
Nope, that's not how they described it, a 3-stall restroom trailer, but they didn't say like where they got it or if they made it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we had to table this, Dick, and not waste any more time until we review this thing in person to start with. That's my thought.
Yeah, I would, Colleen, I agree with Bill, but we should get back to them and tell them that we did not grant the permit and that they should be supplying us with whatever the drawings they have or the sales literature, whatever they have, and then we need to arrange an inspection before we grant the permit.
Okay,
Is
That
that what
makes
you think,
sense.
Lee, too?
That makes good
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely, and then we have to, after we get through that initial phase, we have to have the discussion of, as you pointed out earlier in the discussion, if it is at McDuffie's or at Big Y or at wherever, can they or can they not move it back home without it first going directly down to the facility in Hoyoke or Bondi's Island for disposal?
Or have whatever, a septic
Or have
hauler
whoever meet
pump
them
it
on
out,
site.
or,
Yeah, well, that's the other solution. They have to leave it there until it's properly vacuumed out by either Greg, Josh, Fugler, whomever.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope it's a commercially made unit. If it's a home, well, we won't go there yet. But yeah, okay, let's just table this thing and.
Yeah, let's view it and
move
then
on.
we'll discuss it later.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Very good.
So that's what we're gonna do with that one.
okay.
The next one
Oh, did you do the
is,
money turnover and the bill?
oh, I didn't, you know what? Oh, here it is. It got out of order.
Yeah.
I have, let's do money turnover. Money turnover is $1,490 of that. Ooh, what time is our hearing?
It was 7:45, but.
Yeah, they're asking, they actually sent a chat, Dick. They want to They'd like to expedite their tobacco
do-
hearing.
Let's do that right now.
Okay. So why don't you open the hearing?
Let's see if I'm going to open the tobacco hearing. And this is for the second violation at Union Mart for selling tobacco to a minor. And the owner has requested this hearing. And let me, let's see, we probably have someone from the tobacco control group here. I don't know if that's true.
Donna was supposed to be here. I don't know if she is.
Okay, then,
So Donna's not present then?
so in this particular case, Colleen, have you been
Mhm.
notified by the tobacco control?
Hi, everyone. I am here. I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, can you tell us?
Oh,
We're really sorry. We've got really messed up tonight and we're late. And could you, thank you for staying with us. And could you tell us what happened in this enforcement action? Please?
Yes, I can. I'm just gonna try and get you on video so you can see me.
Okay,
Okay, how's that? It might be a little
That's
bit
great.
dark. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Bowman. I'm the Tobacco Control Officer for the Pioneer Valley Tobacco Coalition. Just a few details on the sale in question. On Sunday, June 25th, around 3:59 p.m., the youth entered the store at the Union Mart in Granby with $20 and her cell phone. The youth asked the adult male clerk for a pack of Marlboro Red. The clerk did ask the youth for an ID, but the youth stated that they didn't have it and asked if they can just help them out. The clerk responded, "I got you," and sold the youth a pack of Marlboro Red. The youth left the store with a pack of Marlboro Red and about $7 change. So the cost of the product was $12. I'm sorry, $13.
so were you there driving?
I was,
You were.
yes.
And did you see the youth go into the store and come out of the store?
Yes, I did. I parked right outside the door.
And were you, when you did this particular enforcement, did you check to see that was the only thing that the youth went into the store with?
Yes, our youth are trained and they are checked before they actually go out for compliance checks. They have to empty all their pockets. Anything that they have on them is left in the vehicle with me in the glove compartment. On this day, not have anything with them except for their cell phone. So when they went in the store, all they had was their cell phone and the cash that I gave them. When they came back out, they had the change and a pack of cigarettes in their cell phone.
And did you see the change in the cigarettes?
Yes, actually, I have the cigarettes here, which is evidence, which stays with me at all times. And we also log a label on the pack of cigarettes, the date, the time, the store, how much the product cost, and the change received.
Okay. Lee and Bill, do you have other questions?
Didn't we have this exact same situation a few months ago?
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
And Donna, what month was the prior offense?
It was actually in April.
Okay. So we had an April offense and now a July offense.
Correct.
Okay.
It's actually June.
Yeah, June
June, okay.
25th, did you say?
It was actually the exact date was June 25th.
Okay.
They're not very far apart.
2 months away. All right.
Yeah. Do you have, is the owner here? No. Lee, or does anybody else have any comments for this hearing?
Yeah, Mr. Scheer is not here tonight. Who's 530-1501? Who is that?
That's me.
Oh, okay, that's you, Donna. Okay.
No,
And then
Dave
four
Collins.
two.
Oh, Colleen,
Oh, that's Colleen. Okay, who's 427-5320? Is that
Jim
Mr.
Tromke.
Scheer?
No, it's Jim Tromke.
Oh, that's Jim
Okay.
Tromke. Okay, okay.
so if that's it, I would like to add into this hearing that this is the second time for this owner. This owner has also sold, according to the tobacco folks, has sold some forbidden tobacco products and in another operation. And it certainly appears to me that when this owner comes to us and has given several reasons why he didn't think it was, well, financially, that it was sound to be charging him for these violations. And in my view, the owner hasn't acted in a responsible way to prevent these sales. And I think that these sales are insult to our community, that what he's doing is whether it's for his intent or lack of concern, but he is part of having our youth smoke cigarettes and doing something to the youth of our town that is terrible for their health. And I believe these are serious offenses. And I don't think he is doing what is needed or should be done to protect our community. And I think these are serious offenses. And I believe they should be dealt with in a serious manner. And I'd like that to be on the record. So Lee and Bill or whoever, we had other comments?
No, I fully understand and agree with that perspective. Fortunately, on the assumption that random operation only covers what lack of knowledge appears to be a normal.
I think Zoom isn't treating us.
I think
Very
Lee's
well.
signal's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
I had one comment for Donna. Donna, what's the fine schedule for the second offense?
Second offense is a $2,000 fine with a seven day minimum suspension of permit to sell tobacco.
Okay. And I trust the suspension window is up to the discretion of the Board of Health.
That is correct. The seven is
Okay.
the minimum. You can go higher than that. And if Granby has any other fines in their regulation, that can be added to the state fine.
Okay.
Well, with that, I am going to close the hearing. And thank you very much for coming. And I'm sorry that we made you wait.
Oh, anytime. I appreciate that. I am no problem.
Okay.
Donna, thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome. Have a great night, y'all.
Thank you, you too.
So the next Oh, I didn't finish this. So now we're back to accounts payable. So for this period, it's $1,490. Of that, the Board of Health permits are $980. Licenses are $210. Board of Health fees and violations are $300, and that totals $1,490. Are we okay with that, Lee and Bill?
Yes.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. I am too, Colleen, so that's approved. The next one I have is bills payable. And there's just one, and that's for our membership dues for this year for the Massachusetts Association of Boards of Health. And that's, or health boards, that's $150. Are we okay with that, Bill?
Of course,
Yes.
that's fine.
And I am too, Colleen, so that's approved.
Okay.
The next one, I don't know which one we have, but there's two, and this is for 120 Easton Street. The first one is, I have not stapled together. Colleen, what are,
The disposal system construction permit for the tank replacement and
okay, so
deboxing.
one is the permit, and one is the COC. So are we okay with the permit? Lee, and, okay.
Yeah.
And I am too, Colleen, so that one is approved. The next one
Okay.
is certificate of compliance. Lee, are we set with that? That's for a tank? That's what, a tank and a debox?
Where are we on?
This is Raleigh DeWitt.
Yeah.
Oh, Easton Street. Yeah, Josh Fugler put those in. Yep.
So we're okay with that.
Yes.
Bill, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The next one is a one-day temporary food permit license for Church of Christ for September 9th, 2023, the Dino Fest food booth. Are we okay with that?
I'm fine with
Yes.
that, Dick.
I am too. So Colleen, that's approved by the three of them.
Okay.
I've got two of them for Immaculate Heart of Mary. The first one is a one-day temporary food permit. And it is Holiday Bazaar, November 4th, 2003. Are we set with that?
Yes.
Lee?
I'll
Yes.
recuse on that one, Dick. That's a client of mine.
Okay, and
Yeah,
I am
we're-
Colleen, so we got Lee and I approved that. Bill abstained. This is
Okay.
also Immaculate Heart of Mary. This is a one-day temporary food permit for the Veterans Pork Roast Dinner, November 11th, 2023. Bill, are you recusing on that one too?
Yes, please.
Lee, are you okay with this?
Yes, thank you.
I am too.
Okay.
The next one is for Winehouse Vineyard at Jameson Farms, a permit to operate a food establishment for over 25 seats. It is for this year expiring the 31st of December. And are we set? This one would be that we approve the permit subject to Lynn inspecting this. For Bill, I did talk to Jim Tromke on this one, and the actual winemaking operation is approved on federal and state folks that they actually go through that operation.
Okay.
So
So,
this is,
so Jim went through the ABCC. He's got
Yeah,
a
he's
permit from
gone-
the state. Okay,
he
okay.
said, so this is for the food service part. And Lynn did tell Colleen that he does have to do the food safe or serve safe, and has to have someone that's trained with that. But typically this permit, we would approve subject to Lynn doing the inspection, and she would then give the permit. Are we set with this?
What do we have, for a, septic capacity for X number of seats? Independent of a working kitchen, which would add more.
This one would have to have, I don't know, Jim said he was here. My understanding
I
is
am.
this year he is running Santa cans. But Jim, can you deal with the toilet facilities question?
I can. I've hired Parker's portable potties to clean and maintain the portable units. We're only open Thursday through Sunday, limited hours, seasonally. And it's not Lee, it's not a kitchen. It's a glass washing operation. We're not serving food. We're serving wine.
Okay.
Beverages.
So Jim, you're not gonna use throwaway plastic cups. You're gonna actually wash the dishes then?
Correct. We have a commercial dishwasher
Oh, wow. Okay.
that boosts the heat to 180 plus degrees.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
we're
That was in the
dumping
that was in the 210 CMR requirement. Okay, yep.
And it dumps into a gray water tank that we use to water our grapes.
Okay,
It's strictly just washing glasses.
okay.
Okay. I
All
was
right, so you're gonna
misinformed.
recycle the water. That's good.
I thought for some reason that Lynn was doing, then why is Lynn doing Safe Surf?
Well, wine, beverages are considered part of the food code. That's what she said.
Okay. My mind went down the wrong path. I apologize. I thought we were talking, when I heard Safe Surf, I immediately thought sandwiches, whatever. Okay.
Jim, you're not gonna
Actually,
serve
when you look at it,
no cheese, Jim, no cheese and crackers with the wine or anything?
Not by me. We may hire someone that has a safe serve that'll prepackaged like a bag of chips. It would all
Okay,
be prepackaged. Nothing is prepped or done on site.
okay. And what are your hours gonna be on the weekend?
12 to 8.
Okay,
I'm licensed to be open 12 to 9, 7 days a week.
okay. All right, we'll have to check it out. That's exciting, Jim. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I hope the community is going to enjoy it.
I hope it's a great success.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
So are we okay with this? So this would be subject to Lynn inspecting it.
Yes.
Me too.
Yep, thank
So
you.
that's all, that's approved, Colleen.
Okay.
Next one is
Thank you.
a well permit for lot 11B Phillips Circle. This is the one that we approved the septic system design, and this is the well layout based on that. In fact, the septic design is attached to it. Are we set with this?
Where's lot 11B, Phillips Circle, Dick?
This is actually in the field. If you go from Barton Street and back of George Galusha's houses, you've got a lot that's in the first field behind, in fact, the
Right,
house,
okay.
the
Okay, so
first
they,
house with the pool.
okay, all right, yeah, we called that zero Phillip for conservation
Yeah,
purposes.
okay.
Okay, so it's been
So
assigned a
this
house
one
number.
is the next
Okay,
lot over,
Okay,
which
Yep.
borders on the very end of Phillips Circle.
I'm familiar with that site. Okay,
it's
so
out
it has
in-
been issued a house number then, okay,
Right.
thank you.
So are we set with the well permit?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I am too, Colleen. So that's approved.
Okay.
The next one that I have, one that Colleen added in, and it's for certificate of compliance for the building card sign off for 44 East Street. Now, I believe, Lee, that is the one next to the solar farm. That's the end of, it's the East Street end of Dickinson Farm. And it's the new house that's out there right next to the solar farm. It's a house
Okay.
that's set back in the field. In fact, it's across from where we just talked about it, Phillips Circle and that area.
I just have no, 48 East Street.
Is it I wrote down 44, but I might be wrong.
But anyway, yeah, Walter, just finished the septic on that.
More than likely that is true.
Yeah, brand new house. Yeah, I was out there, 2 days ago, but yes, it's in, it's all good. Yep.
Okay, so we're set with that. Bill is not with us. So I'm
Okay.
okay with that, Colleen, and Lee's okay,
Okay.
so we'll just
All
say
right.
that the two of us approve this one.
Okay.
Now, I did have a quick question on, Title V's, 47 Taylor.
We haven't done those yet.
27 Oh, all right,
We're gonna do
I'll
those
hold
right
back.
now.
all right.
Well, let's start with, as long as you start that, that's Neil Jackson, 47 Taylor conditionally passes. What is?
Yep.
What are you?
My my impression was that we were going to be doing a deep hole up there. I don't know how old the system is in the ground. But so far that has not occurred. And the same comment on 274 Bachelor Street. I was told, or I was strongly given the impression that a deep hole would be forthcoming because that system on 274 Bachelor is quite deep in the ground.
So we should be
but
doing those.
Well, yeah, that was mentioned at both locations, but that's the last I heard of it until I see it in print tonight. So it's at least if Colleen maybe has a chance to contact Neil at some point in time.
Yeah,
Neil is here right.
Yeah, I'm here right now. I mean, both of
Oh, you
those,
are?
both of those sites have, depots with modeling called out, after night. I think, let's see, if we're which one do you want to talk about first? 47 Taylor?
Sure.
Okay, that has, depot by Bobby Sheehan, and I believe was witnessed by a member of the Board of Health at the time, was a licensed soil evaluator.
All right.
And so that's attached to Title V. It was, let's see, it was done by Bobby Sheehan Jr. and Lee Lalonde and let's see.
Who?
Who's that guy?
That's
It
what I'm
So
wondering.
actually, Bob Sheehan Senior, Junior, and Lee Lalonde, 3 soil evaluators are on the site, all verifying water table.
A couple days ago.
A couple days ago, but
Yeah.
it was after, it was, after 98 when we were using modeling, so.
Okay.
And both of these were the same as when I read those reports.
Right, they both
Yeah.
had at least 2 soil evaluators on site. Both,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
the
they
one that,
passed and they were well in excess of the 3 feet that we required.
yeah,
All right.
and
Okay,
40
thank you.
47 Taylor is a conditional because it needs a D-box, so we're just waiting to make sure, the water table is okay before we replace the D-box. So I will submit paperwork for a permit to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a fairly new house, but I just don't, I mean, I could be losing what's left of my mind memory-wise, but I don't
I'm
remember
with
ever
you.
being at that, yeah.
Yeah, you were there. Well,
remember
I mean,
being-
the plan says you were there. I wasn't
Yeah,
there, but
I get it. I get it.
Was Ni-
Time goes by
but-
quick.
Neil, did
Lee
you
is-
not notify Lee to be at these 2 inspections?
oh no, he was at both.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I was there. I was
Okay.
there, but we were just talking about something and maybe it was just my impression that it was going to be forthcoming, but maybe what the conversation really was not necessarily the depot forthcoming, but the data as
Right,
when the system was put in.
right, and the actual a copy of the soil evaluation.
Lee,
Right,
how
after
how far is 47 from your house, Lee?
It's 100 feet. I mean, from
Okay,
my
so that's,
driveway.
that's the fellow that used to work for the forestry department?
George Bissell?
I don't think he was forestry, Bill.
Oh, okay.
I think he was sales. His house is right adjacent to the Marfran Nugent property.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's on the east side of Taylor then. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
He's across the street
on a
from you.
hill.
Okay, he's
Yeah,
across
up
the
on a
street
hill.
from you. Okay,
Okay.
very good.
The next one is 120 Easton Street. That is Raleigh DeWitt's. So we should be okay with that. That's
Yeah, just got a COC for him. Yeah.
the next one. This is Alan, and I don't know why Alan is doing this. Alan on 39 North Street came out with a water table of in excess of 48 inches from the surface. Instead of talking about water table from the bottom of the system, the other is he submitted a drawing. I don't know if you guys looked at this drawing, but when I look at the drawing, it says from the edge of the system to the ground, the existing ground is like 10 feet vertical. And Lee, maybe you can tell us about it. But it looks like a fill system. So I'm guessing that it was designed with separation. But I don't know whether Alan's got this little thing right now that he's not telling us what the distance underneath the system is. I'm not sure.
Oh, I know why. This is
It looks like it could have been Leo Fugler III's.
that's
house.
exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. The system's in the backyard. Probably the way it looks as though the system appears to have been installed larger than the print called for.
Yeah, in fact, it said on it that Leo Jr., I think, put an extra trench in.
That was what I was informed of at the time of the inspection. Don't know what year it was put in. Everything appears to be, fine. There was no broken down components. But again, I don't know the last date of what year it was put in, 95, 98. I don't know that. It appeared to be operating fine, even though no one has lived there for, I don't know when Sue passed away, for a while. Water levels were good.
But we don't
Overgrown.
really know where the water table, when Alan says 4 feet to the ground and this thing is buried in the ground. And it's not done,
Yeah,
we don't have this documented under the current Title V. This doesn't have Alan hasn't proved that it's got 3 feet under the system, right?
I don't have any knowledge of that. We didn't do a hole at the time of the Title V. We just uncovered some components. They cleaned it up a little bit. But again, I don't know when it was perked, built. Could have been post 98. I just don't know.
Yeah. Alan did supply a drawing, but Colleen, or the part that you supply, whoever supplied the drawing isn't the full drawing. So you can't really tell what's going on with, it didn't give a perk information. It didn't, Alan just didn't supply the thing that says where the water table is compared to the system. So in this particular
Yeah.
case, we probably, according to our agreement from the last meeting, this one has to say because the engineer did not verify that the water table is at least 3 feet below the bottom of the leaching facility, this leaching facility needs to be replaced. And that's going to happen is Bill and Lee. Bill, you're muted again.
Yeah, good. Let's give Alan some opportunity to provide the necessary information before we deem it defective.
Well, we have to do, what do we do at this point? Alan indicated that he thought there was clearance, but do we ask Alan to verify it before we send the note out? I don't want, so we should review this again at our next meeting, Colleen?
Dick, is it a pump system or gravity?
Gravity.
And I think that's a green ranch house, isn't it?
I don't know. It's.
But I think the terrain behind that house goes up a little bit.
Well, it really drops down steep.
Or it drops from the rear?
Yeah,
I thought it drops from the front of the house to the street.
it does both.
Well,
Oh,
it does both. There is a level backyard behind the house. There's a barn on the facing the house on the east side of the house.
yeah.
There's a little plateau in the backyard where the SAS is, and then in the back of that piece, then it drops down a hill.
Okay,
For
I'm
sure.
looking at it now. Okay, so there's 39, there's an outbuilding to the rear left of the house, and then there's 2 little sheds out back, I see.
That's
Yeah.
correct, and this is nestled in by those 2 sheds.
Yeah, I'm looking at, okay, I'm looking at the aerial photo as we speak here. Oh, I see, and there's a bunch of automobiles on the property too. At least,
Yeah.
that's what Mass Mapper shows.
So
Yeah, there's a
maybe,
couple pickup
There's a
trucks.
bunch, there's a ton of stuff out back there.
is it what we do? Do we go to Alan, have Colleen get in touch with Alan and say, we can't tell what the distance is from your report. We can't tell what the distance is from the bottom of the SAS to the water tank.
Yeah, give them another opportunity to dig a hole and do an evaluation. That's all. That's pretty simple.
Okay.
He'll either do that or he'll come up with some data as to when it was put
Right.
in. So either way, we're gonna come out of this thing, you know, with some data.
So,
Right now,
so,
we just don't.
so are you sure that the leach field's behind the house?
Absolutely.
Boy, again, there's driveways behind the house. There's vehicles all over the place in this aerial photo.
Yeah. There's
I-
two driveways. There's a driveway on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
facing
yes,
the house.
I see that. And then there's a loop around driveway on the other side. Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's where we were. We were on the right-hand side, heading
Okay,
in a more northerly direction towards
Okay,
whatever,
okay.
towards Bachelor.
Okay, so we'll get
Yeah.
back to Alan and see. And Colleen, could you carry this
Yeah.
over so we remember it at the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, as we go through, one thing that I need to talk about is on not the next meeting, but the meeting after that is scheduled for 9/12, so September 12th. And I will be on vacation that week, and I won't be able to do a meeting. So what do we want to do about that meeting?
You want to postpone it a week?
We can do that.
Lee?
Yeah, 19th. Yeah, tentatively scheduled for 9/19. Yep.
We could do that, and then what will we do with the next one, just to get back on schedule? We'll have two meetings in a row, the 19th and the 26th.
19th, 26th. Yeah, we could try that. And if it's too light, then, you know, radically skip the 26th totally. But yeah, we should, a back-to-back wouldn't. Bill,
Okay,
is that gonna mess
No,
up
no,
anything with
we're
conservation?
okay because conservation meets on the 12th. We meet September 12th, so we're good.
All right, so we'll ruin
everything's
your
good. Yeah,
entire Tuesday nights in September are gonna be shot for you, Bill.
yeah, that's okay. No worries. Got nothing else to do. Yep, that's
Okay.
fine.
Got you.
okay. I will schedule that accordingly. Okay, let's get the next one that we need to do for the planning or Board of Appeals. On 15 Smith Avenue, we have got a request. They want to put a porch closer to the street. Do we have any reason why the zoning board of appeals shouldn't do that? That Smith Avenue has got that community system.
Right.
They're
So,
trying to move the house. Just trying to see they've got 25 feet to the road, to the porch, and they want to move it to what, 15 or something? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
anything
not-
that affects us?
That's not a problem. No.
They don't have leach fields, all they've got is
Right. Right.
I
Yes.
think all the piping is in the rear of the property on that.
that side. I'm just trying to see. This one may be on the side that's towards the hill.
Well,
Maybe it
I
isn't.
guess as long as they check with Dave DeRozier as far as location of that
Yeah.
pipe goes, then
In fact,
I don't.
yeah, the system isn't even ours. It's the
Oh.
town that does that one. So I guess we could send something that said that the board isn't involved with this. The board's got no objections, Colleen, I guess.
Okay,
Lee and Bill, is
Yeah.
that okay? Just a simple thing?
I'm looking at it right
Sure.
now on Mass Mapper and oh, I see 15. It's on the corner. That's a corner lot, isn't it? Yeah, that's a corner lot. That's no problem. It doesn't affect
No,
health related stuff.
no, it's
an
not
issue.
Board of Health. So we just send a thing out, say that the
Yeah.
board has no objection to it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That two issues, one is we just got notified that they found a West Nile virus mosquito in Granby. I'm guessing it's gonna be in the news. Do we want to put anything on the state suggest on the release to us that we put something that says people should be, a mosquito was tested and found to have West Nile virus, and the state suggests we say people should wear long clothing and insect repellent, and be aware that mosquitoes are active in the morning and evening. Do we
Mhm.
want to put
Yeah.
that on our website?
That's fine.
Yeah, something along that line or that exactly would be prudent.
Yeah, and we could probably say that at an infected mosquito, a West Nile virus infected mosquito was found in Granby. And then put, Colleen, what the state just suggests we do. You can put it on the
Okay.
website.
yep.
So that one's done. The next one with the well water contamination. What Colleen found, I received a call from someone in, well, I won't say it, but it was on my street that said that the woman had been sick with diarrhea, and her neighbor was also sick with diarrhea, and both of them had their well water checked, and they were both contaminated with coliform. And my understanding from the woman was that they had their wells disinfected, but the woman that called me said that Quabbin Analytical told her that the contamination was widespread and a result of the heavy rains. Colleen, you called Quabbin, and can you tell Lee and Bill what you found out?
Yeah, she said there wasn't particularly a lot in Granby. It wasn't just Granby, it was in different towns, and it wasn't like one area. It was mostly just depending on the well, the situation with the well. There were, most of the wells were shallow wells it was affecting, but it just depended on the well. So it was kind of in many towns, but not particularly, bad in one area or one town.
This woman told me that she had a deep well, but that it was not a pitless adapter, that her wellhead was buried in a well tile below the surface of the ground. So certainly, if you had surface water that filled up her well tile, it could have gone into her well. But should we be doing anything? Should we be taking a proactive role in this? My concern is that we do not have this, our town does not have a history of getting contaminated wells.
I think
We
that concerns
absolutely-
me, Dick, is there's 3 wells next to each other and they're all supposedly contaminated. Is that true? Are there 3 homeowners affected, Colleen, adjacent to one another?
2 that I know of.
2, okay.
And both of those have wells that, as far as I know, Bill, they're I don't call newer homes, but homes that the Board of Health had insisted that the wells be 100 feet from the septic tank as well as the septic system. And I
Yeah.
believe that the 2 wells involved have and the homes involved have the wells in the front of the property and are much higher with the tank and the leach field in the back of the property and very much below, down gradient from the wells. But they're definitely deep wells.
Yeah.
So that being said, is that the extent of, as far as we know, the amount of contaminated wells, those 2 in town, or is there another dozen in the background, or we haven't heard?
That's the $1 million question, Lee. This
Okay.
could be an isolated event, or this could be a widespread situation. But I think time will tell.
Yeah.
But the
My-
question is, but the question is, in the meantime, it's probably prudent for these folks to go on bottled water at their own accord.
Well, I think they are doing it. The
Yeah.
people that are involved. My concern is if you have, these 2 homes are a common vintage and they're in ledge, it's at least a possibility that these folks have their water line going from the well to their house in ledge. And in fact, water got down into that trough dug in the ledge and ran back into the well. It could be that there's 2 homes of a common vintage that had a common problem. And that if they're isolated to that location, going out and telling everybody in the town that they better be careful because we think everybody's water is contaminated when we don't. We don't think it's all contaminated.
Right.
Colleen's data from Quabbin says it's not widespread in Granby. And when they get it, it's shallow wells, and we don't have many shallow wells left in Granby. So we could cause a terrible panic for no reason versus if we got Colleen with her, ear to the ground, finding out if she hears of anybody getting sick, then we could act. We could call an emergency meeting if this looks like a problem, or maybe let's be even more proactive and let's ask Colleen to get in touch with Quabbin and ask Quabbin to give us a list of when they fail tests in Granby. What if we do that so we can, for the next month or so?
Yeah, we need some town-wide data scattered about town, not concentrated in any certain area, but we need a lot of data to make a decision, Dick. Right now, we have very, very, very little data.
But if Colleen reached out to Quabbin, then actually what maybe Quabbin would be willing to do is give Colleen a weekly list of what wells or how many wells she does in town and how many pass and how many fail.
What motivation would one have as a homeowner to have his or her well tested?
If someone got sick, or if they had a Title V that the well was too close to the septic
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
But we typically would
Yeah.
see those.
It would have to be a reactive response rather than proactive.
Yeah. But I'm guessing the data set's still gonna be pretty tiny.
Yeah, especially since the high rainfall amounts of July are, 2 weeks behind us.
Right, yeah, we had probably 15 inches of rain in July here.
Yeah.
I know up in Conway, they had 21 inches.
Right. So I would have thought, not knowing any better, that if that was going to be a big issue, it already would have grown substantially
Yeah,
since these two isolated ones were reported.
now was E. coli present in the samples or just coliform?
They were just doing coliform from what I saw, because that's the tracer.
That's the indicator, yeah, that's the indicator. And I
that they
think,
look
I think the code is 100 colonies per deciliter, so a tenth of a liter, you're allowed 100 colonies of coliform and still pass. So if you're 99, you're good. If you're 101, you fail.
Quite frankly, what makes me surprised is if this were a big issue, that we would have seen it on the news media with all of the flooding issues, with all of what I would expect would be shallow wells along, the river,
Right.
all of those places that flooded. I really would have expected people to be saying, look at all my wells are flooded and are polluted. And I haven't read a single thing about it.
Well, that's good.
So maybe this is just an absolutely isolated problem of two wells in Granby that don't even fit with the woman from Quabbin who said it's really not Granby that has it to speak of, and it's shallow wells. So as what Lee is saying is maybe, or Bill, what you're saying is you had two problems with two houses that are next to each other.
So should we impose upon Colleen to call these guys or just let it roll?
Well, Colleen has already reported to the woman that called at what we found.
Okay. Yep.
So, and maybe it is worthwhile. My suggestion is for Colleen to either, for the next couple weeks until the next meeting, why don't once a week, Colleen, you call Quabbin, since Quabbin is the one that does most of the bacterial testing for wells in town. Is just give them a call once a week for the next 2 weeks and see if they've got any other Granby wells.
Okay,
At least it'll be some data.
Yeah, because right now we can't
Nope.
start crying wolf for two wells.
Well, yeah, again, and we don't have the budget to test everybody's well in town or representative number of wells. That's not in our budget.
And then on
Correct.
top of that, if you've had, for no reason whatsoever, that you have 2,000 people that call up Quabbin and it swamps Quabbin and Quabbin can't do the test, and then all of a sudden you've got people screaming because they're afraid because they can't get their test done. And all of this is for for no reason. It's just not reasonable to be scaring people. It's not a real problem.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if we get the data, because people who get sick, not all of them will go get their water tested, but some of them will. And we'll find out if we just don't get any more tests of bad wells, because we don't. If you look at the town of Granby, we just don't have wells that are polluted. We've done a really good job of making sure wells are dealt with properly and they don't get contaminated.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so we did both of those. Actually, as it's now,
So,
I think that's it.
Colleen, what do you
so-
have?
Well, I'm just wondering, do we have to do anything with Union Mart now, or what? Or do we, let's see, what
Oh, we
does it say?
should.
Pay,
We've had we can in fact get that ball rolling. So if it's $2,000 is what the fine is?
Donna said $2,000 and then 7-day closure on tobacco sales at our discretion.
So do we send a note? Since there's nothing from the hearing that said we shouldn't do that, and the state law says we have to do it. So when do we want the owner to pay? In the next 30 days, by the end of September?
Now, Colleen, he has 2 other payment schedules that he's forwarding to us, correct?
he owes, $400 this month, for the month of August. He usually pays it at the very end of the month, and that's it as far as previous. And this letter says pay $2,000 within 21 days of receipt of this order, but then he wanted the hearing, so.
So when he pays the $400, is his previous fine satisfied financially?
Yes,
So there's
Oh, both-
actually
Done with that.
two fines,
Both previous fines.
two fines. One's for
Oh.
selling
Okay,
without a license, the other is selling to a kid.
okay.
yeah, so selling without a license, the remainder is $400.
Okay, so now we add another 2,000 on top of that, plus a week of non-sale. Okay. And
All
this
right.
has to be satisfied before January 1, is that accurate?
Well, what we could do is set when we want them not to sell. You could give them to, say he has to do the fine until the end of, because he's gonna do the 400 by the end of August. You could say that by
Yeah.
the 30th of September, he has to pay the $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
He won't have it,
Well, then
I don't
we'll,
think.
and when do we want them not to be selling?
My guess, I don't know if he has an uptake in business come the fall. So my guess is the sooner he takes his week off, the better it will be for him.
Yeah,
That's
he'd
our
probably
concern.
prefer to, well, of course,
You know.
the dark humor is we should close them down the first week of school, where school begins.
That's correct.
But we're
But that-
only closing them down for cigarettes.
That's
He's not
right.
supposed to be selling cigarettes to kids anyways.
Well, that was the dark humor there, Dick.
Yeah, I
That's the
understand.
point.
He shouldn't, but if he did, he wouldn't be in the
So-
spot he's in now.
So it'd be the week after, the week of Labor Day. Good as any.
Yeah. Yeah, tell him he. Yeah, it's only cigarettes. So we can't sell any, Colleen, so we tell him he's gotta pay our money by to pay the town the money by the 30th of September. And he can't sell. You really want to do it over the Labor Day weekend?
No, I was just being facetious there, Dick,
Then
whatever
let's
you
do the-
guys want.
Let's do the following. Let's tell him starting Monday, September 11th at 12:01, he has to stop and he cannot sell any tobacco products until 12 p.m. Sunday, the 17th, or 11:59 p.m. Sunday, the 17th.
Okay.
That gives them time to work up to it, no holidays.
Although he will possibly throw that back in our face because he's depending on his mindset. He won't want the fine during September if he plans on paying us the entire $2,000 by the end of the month, which I don't think he's going to anyway. But again, not our concern.
So maybe we just tell him that and let him, if he wants to negotiate when he gets his week off, we could come
Yeah.
back and negotiate that, right?
Hmm.
I think we're going to hear it anyway, but yeah. I mean, even though he did this to himself, we're trying to somehow help the guy out of the spot that he created for himself, which isn't our job, but I get it.
But you'd think he'd get it after he sold the kids the first time.
You would hope so.
And then, so he sells the kids the first time, then he comes back and sells prohibited products to people. And then he sells the kids a second time. And
Okay,
Right.
based on that track record, if we shut him down for a week, what makes you think he's not going to sell during that week?
well, then you just take his license, period. And just say, you know, you're done.
Well,
You
it's
can't-
like I said earlier on, just because somebody did a random inspection does not mean that this is not their way of doing business as usual. You gotta think that whoever walks in the door with $12 in their hand gets a pack of cigarettes. Day, night, young, old,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
You're making a big deal about it.
so,
Okay, Dick, I've got 8% left on my battery on my computer, so
okay, so we
I'm
should
sorry.
be putting
That's it.
everybody to sleep.
Yeah,
Well, I just had one more thing. I submitted a groundwater, evaluation.
Neil, are you
determination.
still awake?
I am barely, Lee, but over at 12 Pine Brook, you kicked back a Title V for groundwater.
yeah.
So Lee
Yep,
and I
yep.
did it, and I submitted the soil evaluation and I shot grades to show that we had over 4 feet.
So we should be
Okay, good.
sending a letter, that same letter that we sent to, what was it? I can't remember the name of the street. Burke
Meadow.
Lane?
Oh, Burke Meadow
Meadow.
or
Yeah.
Meadow Glen,
Meadow
Meadow
Glen,
Glen.
yeah.
yeah,
Meadow Glen,
Hallahan's
yeah.
project, yeah.
Where we said as a result, whatever it is, as a result of in this case, the water table determination that was done by Neil Jackson, and you can enclose a copy of it, the board rescinds the letter requiring the replacement of the leach field, right? Whatever it is that we required of, we should rescind it, right? Because Neil says we've got more than the 3 feet that we require.
Now, yes, Neil, you're still gonna, work with this guy towards the replacement of the septic tank, is that?
Yes, yeah,
correct?
it was still a conditional based on, he needs a new septic tank. There is no D box, but he does need a new septic tank. Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll have that plan submitted for the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Now
now I'm
I
not
can-
asleep. Now I'm
Now I'm gonna
asleep.
put everybody to sleep.
All right, thank you very
Okay.
much. Appreciate
Right,
it.
good-
Thank
Thanks,
you.
night.
everybody. All the
Good
best.
night.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, folks.